how sweet it is. Out of focus. I assume you guys heard that, but how sweet it is to be loved by you nerds. What is up? It's me, your buddy pal, HeyArcher. Welcome back to HeyArcher Live here on Nerd Affiliated. Shout out to Paximus. 2 years of 2 years of membership. That's crazy. This is your weekly Thursday night nerdy talk show where we sit back and relax. I said we sit back and relax. And hopefully on this Ghostbusters weekend by now, or in honor of Ghostbusters weekend, you've poured yourself a a little bit of,
more specifically, vodka, whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer.
I'm pumped. I am pumped. I am so pumped, so excited. Like I said, this weekend, it's a big one. It's a fun one. It's a major one. It'll be no different than years past, other than the fact it'll be bigger. But we have some great guests on the stream today. We have Doc of Tools and Talent Props. We have Wes of Great Scott Prop Shop. And we have Matt of the Creative Geekery. Camera cannot focus on me, but it's fine. You're looking at Jason David Frank. Why not, of all things, look at Jason David Frank. This is, like I said, it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a wild one. Of course, if you guys have questions, throw them in the chat and all that stuff. Also, if you have a YouTube channel, podcast, blog, OnlyFans, newsletter, smoke signals, whatever it may be, put it in the chat. Support one another. Plug yo shit. Shout out to Paximus, of course, once again. But like I said, super excited for this one. I'm in the zone. Without further ado, we're going to bring in the men, the myths, and the legends. If I remember what screen it is, it's this screen. We got Wes, we got Matt, and we got Doc in the house. Good to see all of you. You know, one more time, we're going to hit that button.
More specifically, vodka, whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer.
And more Burger King, of course. Got to have the Burger King. Oh, wait, I forgot I muted all of you guys. I am such a jerk.
It's probably going to be better that way for the whole show. I'm just going to say it probably is a good idea.
Yeah.
Certainly my mic, anyway.
I should have just rolled it. Like, I should have just, kept talking to you guys, making you think we can hear you, and then,
You could, give responses.
Just one more minute.
Expressionist
One more minute, we're going to bring him on.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, so happy to have all you guys here on the stream today. A couple newbies, got the veteran on there. All of you are here because not only does the force demand that you be here on this great weekend, but you are all legends in the Ghostbuster community. So I just had to have you on to celebrate all things Ghostbusters, but also this exciting weekend that's coming up. So I'll go around the horn. Like I said, up top, we have Wes of Great Scott Prop Shop once again in the building. Then off to the corner up there, we have the one and only Doc of toolsandtalentprops.com.
Dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria.
There you go. There you go. And then off to my side here, we have Matt of the Creative Geekery. You know, it took it's been taking a lot of practice for me not to keep saying Experience Explorers. Like it's a work in progress, but I'm trying.
You're not the only one. You're not the only one. I do it. Other people do it. When I was with Ben Eady in Calgary, he kept introducing me as Experience Explorers.
Yeah.
It's fine. We'll get there. That's what happens with a rebrand.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets a little rough. So before I say hi to everybody in the chat, of course, I want to let you guys kind of do your little intros, tell everybody about yourselves. Since Wes is the vet here, I'll let him lead off because that way you guys know.
Vet.
Yeah.
No pressure.
Well, Also, you have the coolest drink of all of us, so I figured that would also be a reason to lead us off. Wes, tell us, who are you? What do you do?
Well, I'm going to start off first. Why I'm drinking Old Smoky Buckeye Moonshine. So it's like a peanut butter chocolate moonshine. So
Nice.
you got that going on.
Nice.
But no, for the past, I don't know, gosh, I've lost track of the years. For the past handful of years, we've had Great Scott Prop Shop on Etsy. Mainly consists of 3D printed Ghostbusters spirit pack parts, things to customize your proton pack. But in recent months, or within the last year, we've kind of expanded the service offerings with some other franchise lines. So that's exciting. In addition to Great Scott Prop Shop, my wife and I have a travel and food blog on YouTube called Travel and Foodie Warriors. So anything travel, anything fun, movie locations, any food, we like to go check it out. So that's what we're all about.
I love that. I think we're all fans of food. So one more time for them. Next, we'll go over to Doc, since we're on this screen. Doc, take it away.
So this is a non-paid ad, but if you have recently had a toll violation for $6.99, please send a check to toolsandtalentprops.com and we can clear you of any malfeasance before this gets pressed to the higher courts. Oh, yeah, sorry. I just got a text. I keep getting those. So, Doc from Tools and Talent Props, specialize in upgrades for your Proton Pack, all things Ghostbusters. Also have a little nerd world we're building called the Ecto Ordinance, which is kind of my own custom take on the world of the paranormal and paranormal investigation. So we run lines of upgrades for your Proton Pack. We make custom gear like utility belts. We're going to be rolling out all kinds of great stuff for tomorrow on Ghostbusters Day. And tonight, live after this very program, you can go on YouTube to our first Ecto Ordnance Corps audio field file. So it's a original story. It's mainly audio with a little video. So all you guys that are great at video editing, take it easy. But it's an audiobook format. I got to do with my lovely and talented wife who does voiceovers. So I got to work with her on that, and I'm pretty proud of it. So I hope you guys can go check it out and enjoy it. And that's enough of me for right now.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Getting that first video out, that's a tough one, but
Yes,
I'm sure it's awesome. And don't let it be the last one, because that happens a lot. You put it out there, you're like, I'll get to the next one eventually, and you never do. So make sure that's consistent.
Scary.
Already got the second story in the works.
There you go. Love that. All right, Matt, take us home.
Hey, I'm Matt Daniels from Creative Geekery. I am creative. I am a geek, hence the name. And I mean, a lot of thought went into that, as you can tell. Yes, we mentioned earlier, previously the channel was called Experience Explorers. It's a channel I've had for a long time. When my kids were younger, it was kind of us doing stuff and making stuff and building stuff. I think the first video we ever put up was building a spaceship in your garage or garage if you're from the United States.
I was about to say, that's an interesting Jersey accent you got there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm from Jersey now, but obviously before that it was Brooklyn, as you can tell.
Obviously.
Yeah. So my channel is me building stuff. I build props. I create experiences. We go look at other people's cool experiences, and I love getting opportunities to do behind the scenes. We were very lucky to be on location and film the behind the scenes of Frozen Empire, filming in New York. I do location tours. Just did a whole bunch of stuff with regards to Severance. If anyone's a Severance fan, did a full location tour. There it is. That's me at Woe's Hollow.
Wow.
Nice.
From Severance. And
is that your innie or outie?
Well, as I can't fully remember it, only from this picture, I think it might have been my innie. That's what it might have been. Yeah.
But for some reason, he had pneumonia when he came back. Still not sure how that happened.
And I was wet. I was like coughing up weed. I don't know, not weed, like as in seaweed. Pondweed. This is a bad start. This is a bad
You guys always have different terms for different words.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to blame it on being British. Yeah, you see there, I built the Severance speaker and had a lot of fun walking around the Bell Works, which is used as the filming location for the headquarters of Lumen. And so I dressed up and made a fool of myself and had a lot of fun in cosplay, trying to get people to react to that. So love that kind of stuff, and also just love being in the workshop building stuff and recreating some of the things that I loved seeing when I was a kid, and the stuff I loved to see on TV shows. And I think that's part of the fun, is just going, oh, I want to have this object or build this object and possess it. And the process of bringing it to life is the thing that really, really excites me.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Nice.
Love that.
That's really cool.
So I do want to say hi to everybody in the chat real quick. I apologize in advance, chat. I probably won't be able to read as many things out loud because there's so many of us on screen here to entertain you. But I'll say hi, Paximus, Dada Films, Dave's Dimension, the Rambling Nerd himself, Anthony, Cutthroat, Geek Strong. I think I saw Tony in there. And then we got JC in the house, Craft Collects, Dada Films in the house. It's a full house going on. So Inside Media, I think this is your first time on the stream. So cheers to you there. Ecto1NJ in the house. There you go. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Well, Nick agreed that he would, just make horrible comments about me in chat. So, which is fair.
Hey, with friends like that,
Feel
who
free
needs
to
enemies?
join in with him, everyone else.
Exactly. So for all of you in the chat, like, if you have questions for everybody on screen, feel free to throw them out there. I will read them, as many as I can. But I saw that you're a Back to the Future fan, and Wes has something behind him there that may be of interest to you, Matt. Wes, tell us about it.
The flux capacitor.
He was on the toilet one night.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said you were sitting on the toilet one night.
I was hanging a clock, and you guys know how the rest of that story goes. But no, it was kind of made. It wasn't made last minute, but the decision to make it was last minute. Before Melissa and I, my wife, before we were married, this is back in like 2015, 2016, I think. We found out that Christopher Lloyd was coming to Orlando to the comic convention, MegaCon. So we had a couple of months to put a flux capacitor together. So I quickly researched it. I ordered all the parts, got the Arduino board. I had never programmed one before or anything like that. And one of my coworkers at my day job caught on that I was making this. So like, hey, can you make me one too? So it turned into two real quick. But we, Melissa and I, a lot of nights and trying to figure out how to code it and everything like this, watching other YouTube videos. But there's nothing on it that's 3D printed besides the little cylindrical pieces that the relay tubes sit on.
Yep.
But it took probably a month, I guess, of working on it on nights and weekends. And something that small, you'd think it would be a quick build, and it probably would have been if I could have worked on it all the time. But my gosh, it was involved, especially with the coding. I can't take all the credit for that. Melissa did help me with that. But yeah, we ended up getting it put together two of them just in time to dress up as Doc and Marty and meet Christopher Lloyd.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
No, that's awesome.
That's amazing.
Doc, what about you? What is one of your first builds that kind of took you down this road of all this cosplay stuff?
Very similar. So I'm an electrician by trade and Ghostbusters fan by birth. My birthday's November 21st, 1984. It's a strange thing because it's also Harold Ramis's birthday.
Wow.
So it's just one of those things that I don't remember exactly the first time I watched the movie, but I remember the look on the face of the video rental store when I had to bring it back because it was broken. And I said, Tom, I'm so sorry, but I broke Ghostbusters. And he said, Doc, you've rented this so many times, you've bought it 10. And I said, I don't know what that means, but am I in trouble? He said, no, I'll get a new one next week so you can start watching it again. I said, perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got to a certain age and I started realizing that a lot of the materials I use in the field are on the proton pack. And I said, I'm gonna take a whack at this, and started pulling together actual materials and actual components that they used. A lot of it's aircraft stuff, a lot of it's avionics, hydraulics, but a lot of it is electrical components. So yeah, I started building proton packs. I started building mods to existing equipment out there, and I took the approach of why build a toy when I could build something real. And that's the same logic I bring to all my props. So all my props are kind of semi-commercial industrial stuff. Everything I build to look cool, be functional, and kind of take a beating. I spent a year in R&D on my utility belt because I wanted it to be able to hold my full rig of construction tools. I figured if it could do that, it could hold a trap and a belt gizmo and that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's kind of the tact I've taken with it. And I built my first full rig and went to a Comic-Con, and the very kind of same thing. Somebody looked at it and said, "Where'd you get that?" I made it. Can I get one? Well, I don't make them like that. I don't know. And that kind of nagging thing happened. And my wife, who's smarter than me, looked at me one day and goes, there's a thing called Etsy.
Yep.
You should put some of your stuff on Etsy.
Yep.
I was like, I don't like computers. They're the bane of my existence. I work in construction, successfully avoided them for 25 years. Don't make me use a computer. But, went on there, threw some things up, and before you know it, we started cooking. So that's kind of origin story and how I approach things and how I got my start.
That's awesome.
Love that. Well, Matt, you just did your first proton pack. So
right.
that's the first, you dropped your video this week or last week actually about that whole process. So what made you decide to go down the road of 3D printing it versus, what a lot of us will do is just buy it, but people, the three of you guys actually have all built your own proton packs at this point. So what made you take down that challenge?
It's a really good question. I think I kind of back to what I said when I introduced myself. There's something about the experience of bringing something into reality for yourself. So that was what excited me about it. And I think I bought a 3D printer basically to print a proton pack.
Wow.
That's where I was like, okay, this sounds like something that I could do. I'd kind of done a bit of research. I'd seen a couple of other folks' packs, and I thought, okay, I'll give this a go. And yeah, the whole experience was awesome. First of all, because it's what a crash course in 3D printing a proton pack. It's not a small thing. And my bed was of a size that I had to print it in the multiple parts. If you've looked at the Q-Pack STL files, it's a fantastic pack. If you're thinking of 3D printing a pack, the Q-Pack's, in my opinion, the only way to go. And it's modular, so you can print the cyclotron, for instance, as one whole piece, or you can print it as 4 pieces. And a lot of other parts of the pack are like that. So they'll fit on a reasonably sized bed. And I kind of say to people when they say, oh, I'm thinking of starting it, I'm like, what's the best printer? And there's lots of great advice out there, and there's lots of, I've got the latest Bamboo and it's freaking amazing. But I think that, my advice to people when they ask me is, look, figure out what your budget is. Find something that's within your budget that has good reviews and start there. It doesn't have to be amazing. It doesn't have to be perfect. And especially if you're printing something like a proton pack, which, is big, layer lines are not a huge issue because you're going to cover that thing in truck bed liner and you're going to fill it with car filler and all those kind of things. If you're, trying to create something very miniature, or you're trying to print like your own wargaming characters, then that's a whole different thing. You're probably going to want a much more detailed printer. But printing these big things, again, if you want to print Star Wars props, Star Wars helmets, those kind of like you can get away with a reasonably good kind of printer and start there. So yeah, but actually I have to say the bit that I love the most about it, and I've got 2 more videos coming out, one about the electronics and the other about the finishing of it. So the weathering's always my favorite bit. Like that's where you've done all this work, and I just can't wait for the moment where you start to see this thing emerging as a real item. And I can't remember where I saw it. I watch way too many special features from movies, and so I pick up all these tidbits from creators and people. And I remember somebody that was in the prop department talking about the fact that there has to be a reason and a purpose for everything that you make, that you bring into being as a prop. So if you're building a spaceship cockpit, which was like the first video I did, you need to know what every button does. There has to be a story behind it. Otherwise, there's something that kind of misses the point. And then you find that what you're creating doesn't have a sense of reality to it. So it needs to be purposeful. And I think, one of the things I enjoyed the most was coming up with the story of this pack as I was finishing it. So what has this pack been through? Why is it an 84 pack with a Phoebe switch? What has gone on? And so I came up with this whole backstory, almost like I was creating a character just out of this prop. And there you go. That proves my name. That's why I'm so incredibly geeky. Why it has to be geeky.
No, I mean, you just described why things have longevity and why things have heart. I mean, you might watch any kind of, medium and go, wow, that was so amazing. That was great. And then you watch it again. And if you can watch it again and get something else out of it, if you can watch it again and get something else out of it, and all of a sudden you realize, oh my God, these guys have explained so much and told a story with everything they're doing. Everything actually has a place. It has a purpose. Then, yeah, that's why you can get obsessed with something. That's why you can geek out about something, because it's not just surface. It's not just because magic, move on. Why is that there? Because it is. No.
Yep.
I mean, I think that's one of the main reasons Ghostbuster has such a longevity, because if you look at that pack, every single thing on that pack has a purpose. And if you think about all the equipment that they use, all of that has a theoretical purpose. I mean, it all does start in the world of theoretical science, but it's explained through, well, if ghosts exist, what do they actually exist of? What are they actually made up of? How would someone go about fighting, capturing, containing? And that stuff just makes the mind spin forever. And that's great that they brought that to it. And any story that mixes ancient kind of mythology with, well, it used to be an eclipse that would happen, that would cause this, that would make the people, and that's all well and good. But what if that was the only time those set of circumstances could actually be aligned because they didn't have technology? What if those eclipse and what if certain weather conditions actually did bring on scientific or elemental properties of certain things that would cause an event to happen? And then now fast forward to, what if science can now recreate that in a millisecond, and then you really have something? I mean, that kind of stuff, yeah, this keeps my mind going. Those are the kind of stories you love, right? Because it's not just, that's a hoochie what's it, move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's really cool also too is like the Proton Pack and other Ghostbusters prop gear, like it's got the same basic form, but it's not what I'd call cookie cutter, because it's like fingerprints. No. It's like no two Proton Packs are the same. Like this one might be weathered a little bit more here, like Matt said, because they got knocked over by a class 5 forming vapor and it got all scraped up or something, or
100%.
So it's really cool how different people can make it their own, and same with Archer's Proton Pack. It's everybody just looks different, but everybody can still come together as a community because they're the same.
Yeah, there is no perfect pack, because the 4 to 6 original ones aren't perfect and they don't look the same, and they all have their own quirks, right down to locations of certain hose runs, to what color ribbon cable is used and what orientation and where things are flipped. It's 100% fingerprints.
Yeah. It's imperfectly perfect.
I love that.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Before I do continue, I don't remember if I gave him the shout out there, but shout out to Paximus for the super chat today. And then I'm going to come back to you, K-Walk, on the Severance stuff, because I have a feeling we can go down that road, and we will go down that road because we have some Severance fans here.
I brought a buddy with me. We can
There
talk
you go.
about it later.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
And Wes has something too I was going to show on screen that he had on his page. So I got
I
you,
do have a
Wes.
couple of them made now, so I have some practical ones.
I love that. I love that.
Cool.
So Cutthroat had a question here, and we'll lead off with Wes on this one. How much do you spend on your Ghostbusters traps and gear usually? So I guess maybe a question to refine this could even be like how much you spend a year on it, if we can put a number to that, or maybe.
For
I mean, all
Ghostbusters
time I feel like
gear?
we all would be millionaires now if we weren't buying Ghostbusters stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
man.
it's a very tilted group we have here, the four of us.
Yeah, like most everything that I haven't really per se bought anything. I make it.
Yep.
There you go.
But the initial, like when I made my initial proton pack, it's the one. It's not lit very well, but it's over my shoulder over here. I'm like backwards on the screen, but it's right behind me. I built that one back in 2011, before like the dawn of 3D printers. So it's like, a lot of cutting and measuring, and 3D printers are amazing now to do that type of thing. But I probably spent, when I built that one, I probably spent over $400 building that one,
Sure.
just on all the different stuff on it. But per year, gosh, that's a tough question, because like it could be a shirt, it could be like, I wish I could show what I'm looking at right now. It's a whole wall. I got another proton pack there, a bunch of Ghostbusters stuff on that wall. I don't know. Could be anywhere between 300 to, gosh, if I really went nuts, 1,000 or more.
Yeah.
Well, I think the U.S. government, those are all business expenses.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly. Well, I was gonna say too, because a lot of you guys. The reason I also thought it'd be an interesting question was a lot of you guys do make your stuff. Like a lot of you guys are very hands on with. If there's something from a movie I liked and I want to kind of recreate it, go for it. So Doc, what about like, because you're known more for like things to accessorize the whole costume and enhance the proton pack. So like, what was that first piece that you made that you were like, hey, I feel like I can replicate this and actually like serve the Ghostbusters community with this thing?
Yeah. So, I mean, I definitely looked at it from an accessibility level. I looked at what was out there for people and how to take it from a toy and start to make it look a little more real and make it look a little more functional, make it act more functional and real. So, I mean, really where I got into more doing it just for myself was the Spirit and the HasLab release. That was where I started making things for me and then some friends, and then, went to some cons and all of a sudden realized like, hey, there's a whole community out there right now that is crying out for help with certain things. And as an electrician, the initial HasLab pack, that is it's beautiful. I love it. It's great. It did kind of have an inherent flaw with a certain connection between a certain pack, a certain wand, and a certain hose. So I came up with a solution for that. But I mean, yeah, what do I spend on Ghostbusters gear yearly? I don't know, too much probably. But I will say that all comes at different levels, and anybody that's in this community, going back to the Proton talk, there is no level you need to spend. There is no gear that you need to have. There is no gatekeeping. If you got a, janitor's onesie zipped up with your name tag on it, you're a Ghostbuster. And it goes up from there, and it's kind of where you can meet it and where you want to be with it.
That's right.
Well, so it's great because it is all homemade. It is all crafted. So yeah, I mean, meet it where you can at your level. Obviously, when you get to a certain point, like the four people talking to you right now, it gets a bit ridiculous. But we're ridiculous people. We're talking about, passion, love, and toys. So that's going to happen.
Exactly. So Matt, as you're kind of like piecing everything together and deciding, what to buy and not buy, Like, where 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 do you think is your fine line between like it needs to be like the exact thing or like the exact replica from the movie versus like I will let it be my own? Because even to Doc's point there, like, you know, we all at a certain point are trying to go for accuracy, but all three of you have mentioned how these are all also our stories. So like,
Yep.
Yeah.
where do you find yourself drawing the line? Is it a financial reason why you would do it, or is it just like, you know what, like I don't feel the need to go that far? Like, where do you
Mm.
draw that?
That's a great question. That's a great question. I, it kind of, I have some strong feelings about this,
Yeah.
particularly about the accuracy piece, and Doc kind of picked up on it too. I mean, I
As an
love the
Adam
whole
Savage fan, I knew that this would be a good question for you, as it was brewing in my head.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I love the whole thing that you just said, Doc, about the level of entry for Ghostbusters. I think it's great. I mean, and some of my favorite Ghostbusters gear that I've seen are the packs that were like glued together on the carpet the day before, and just there's like a passion. Somebody has this idea and they've taken what they have around them to kind of bring that to life,
Mm-hmm.
and there's almost like a palpable energy about a prop like that
We were all there.
has it's got the right silhouette. It's you know, it on close inspection it's far from perfect, but it has a perfection about it that just I love. And I think that um I I'm very very lucky to be a friend of Ben Eady, and he and I have talked about this before about you know, on the side of you asked the question about accuracy, like detail and accuracy, and there is a for all the right reasons, a desire for folks to have things that are screen accurate. We use this terminology, right, in all these kind of fan communities, screen accurate. And Ben's like, dude, like you don't want screen accurate stuff because that stuff's crap. Because we just glued it together and
Yep.
threw this bit
Looks
on.
good
And we
on the
did this.
screen.
At a
Yeah.
distance.
So true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if anybody doesn't know who's listening, Ben Eady was a prop master on Ghostbusters Afterlife, although he was actually a thing called armorer in the
Yep.
credits, which I love because
Uh-huh.
he did all the
That's right up
props.
my alley.
Yeah, he did the proton packs and the traps and stuff on set. But yeah, we talked about that at length and about how you know, even in cosplay, I've been very lucky this year. I've been to quite a lot of cons this year, and it's been really fun. I started interviewing people about their creative process because I love hearing what motivates people to build or create or do something, and also like, how did you make that? I want to know what you did. Like, and people will tell you. I mean, I've met people that, you know, they're making armor out of foam, and then there's a guy that I met who's making armor out of aluminum. And I'm like, what? You made you actually made this like for real, basically. And it like the fact that those both exist and both can look amazing doesn't really matter at all. What it is the experience of making it and then bringing it to life. And often, I mean, for anyone that cosplays, the experience of wearing it is magic, right? To become this character or to become this thing, and then to see other people respond to that character
Yes.
that you've become is super super fun. I mean, even just the simple cosplay that I did at MegaCon this year of Severance, right? I had a little flyer looking for Miss Casey, and I had my speaker, which is here, and you know, and you know, the Lumen Pass, and walked around and, you know,
That's awesome.
seeing people go, what? Wait. I was just approaching random people who said, have you seen Miss Casey? Have you seen Miss Casey? Some people were like, what? Is this guy mad? And then other people were like getting it that had seen the show. But anyway, I digress. So I suppose to come back to your question, I care about an object feeling real. Do I care about it being perfectly accurate? No. I think that when you can see it and you look at it and it gives you an experience, then you've done your job.
Mm-hmm. I was trying to find the video with Ben on the tested channel, and I feel like they pulled it down or something. I cannot find it. But
which one? The one where he's building a proton pack with?
That's the video. Sorry.
Yeah. It's the proton pack. There's actually 3 with Ben now, I think, on tested. There's the one with the proton pack.
Right.
There's the one where he gifts Adam that beautiful prop that they built with the Ghostbusters logo.
Yep.
And then he also did a really interesting video on, I mean, I don't know if any of you followed, Ham Radio Rookie is Ben's latest channel, and he's doing a lot of ham radio stuff. He's designed this incredible antenna just made of Faraday material, like totally crazy. And he did a video on tested about how the Faraday material can be used as a way to transmit electricity in clothing, so you can use it for it's a really cool video.
That was a good video. Yeah. I remember seeing that, and it's funny, like doing nerdy things like these are what almost like make fantasy become reality. Like it's like doing nerdy things and finding out how can I make blank for my project turns into reality. I always think of the cordless, drill. Like that was like a NASA, like, oh, I can't run this extension cord. I should try to like solve that, and now we have cordless power tools, like it's crazy how things, come about like that. Doc, you're gonna say something?
No, I was just agreeing with you, man.
Oh,
100%. If anything, just to echo, the topic of the hour with Ghostbusters, I think the thing that is different from other fandoms than Ghostbusters fandom is you might cosplay in Star Wars as Luke Skywalker. You might cosplay as Boba Fett. You might go out and, cosplay as a Raccoon City SWAT team member.
Mm-hmm.
But when you cosplay as a Ghostbuster, you're cosplaying as yourself. You go around and look at name badges.
You're the character.
That's people's names. You are the
Right.
Ghostbuster.
Mm-hmm.
And that hits so hardly home with everyone, and it is such a personal thing that, again, it's another testament to the movie and the franchise that they built, and why it's got longevity.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that.
So Wes, you built yours. I'm gonna steal from Patrick here, who stole from Iron Man 1. You built your pack with a box of scraps. Tell everybody how
cave?
you. Yeah, exactly. He did back in 2008. You said, or 9?
It was 2011. There's actually I think on my
There's another channel you have.
YouTube channel.
There's a different channel.
Yeah, and really, I don't put much on there besides how to, how to put the parts that I sell on, on the proton pack. But I believe my video is on there. But yeah, it was basically I started with like a piece of, think of it like the material like you'd see in a PVC pipe, right? But it was a 4x8 sheet of it that was about 1/8 of an inch thick. And so I was like, all right, there's my proton pack. I bought it from a plastic supplier that was in my town.
Yep.
And I just started tracing the shapes, the top, like if you're looking down on the proton pack, I started tracing the shapes out and cutting them with an X-Acto knife. And I'd get my top shapes, then I'd be like, all right, how tall is it? And then I'd start just building it like that and building it up. And I used like PVC glue, like you'd glue your sprinkler lines together with, that purple stuff that gets all over your hands and stains your fingers. Prime it with that. I'd glue it together. And similar to how Matt would print the pieces out and assemble them into one cohesive shell, that's pretty much what I did with the PVC parts, and assembled it to one cohesive shell by screwing them together. And I used a material called epoxy sculpt to put along the seams and create fake welds. And once I had that piece together, it was just a matter of getting the other piece. It's kind of a funny story, and I think I might have told you this, Archer, but the cyclotron cover is actually a Duff Goldman cake pan that I
That's
got at
the
Michael's.
best stuff right there. You just said it. When you look at a space wall and you realize that it's a bunch of ice cube trays that someone
Right.
painted silver and covered with gaff tape.
Yep.
Yep.
Right.
That's
and,
the best
and it
stuff.
looks the part. And it was perfect.
It
It had the
looked
right
real,
level
man.
up and
Always.
everything.
Always. Nice.
But
That's
but
why-
it was a lot. It was a lot of work. And this is back at a house that I used to live at a long time ago. I didn't have my own workshop or a garage or anything like that, but I had a pool table. So I put banquet tables on top of my pool table without the legs put out. And that's where I built this proton pack. And but it took a long time. And I'd work on it and then I'd get kind of burned out on it. I put it away, and then I would see something online and I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna go back and work on it. And finally, when I got it to the point where I put that first coat of primer on it, I'm like, there it is. I see it. I see the pack coming together. And I think probably whenever anybody builds a proton pack, I think they get to a point where they're like, there it is. I see it. I see what I've seen in the movies for so long, that shape or something about it. And I saw that, and I'm like, and that kind of gave me that motivation to push it the rest of the way to the finish line. And I got it done right before Halloween. And I remember going to downtown for Halloween with my nephew and putting it on and walking downtown for the first time in the full flight suit, everything. And, I have never got so many comments and people want to
Instantly
get their
recognizable.
Oh my gosh. And this, because this is pre, HasLab pack, and it was, a long time before Afterlife came out. And so like people were just like, God, where'd you get that? And I was like, I made it.
Yeah.
And it was, but what a process. It was fantastic. I was so happy to get it done, but it's something I literally look at every single day, and I enjoy looking at it every day.
That's all. Yeah, it doesn't matter where you go, age group, demographic, everyone loves seeing a Ghostbuster.
Yep.
Everyone sees and goes, oh my God. Like it's instantly recognizable what you are. And it could be as simple as having a jumpsuit with a belt on. People are like, that's a Ghostbuster.
Yep.
Well,
Doc, you mentioned, how you were watching it at such a young age. Like, do you still even have like some of your childhood, like cosplay,
Right,
I guess?
so
I mean,
here's
I
the
guess we
deal.
would say Halloween costume, but like,
Here's the
really
deal.
for us, it's
So,
cosplay.
Ghostbusters 1 came out literally the year I was born, right?
Mm-hmm.
So watching VHS, big for an 80s kid, like all of us. And then cartoons come out, and then Ghostbusters 2 comes out.
Mm.
My God, right? So my birthday party is at the bowling alley. We got the Ghostbusters hats. We got the custom-made cake. My dad worked at Hamilton Standard, which is a aerospace place, right? So they made a lot of stuff for NASA, a lot of stuff for Department of Defense. They had very sophisticated printers at the time. So he made me an official Ghostbuster certification letter that came on that dot matrix paper. So like I got that. It was my gig, right? So I opened up my present, flight suit, proton pack.
Wow.
The Kenner stuff.
Yeah.
So I rocked that like it was my uniform. I would not take that off for anybody. I had the whole thing worked out. I lived in a split level house, right? So we had a basement. So when you went into the basement, you had a staircase that was nothing underneath it. So we'd have like, those bifold doors. You can put Christmas decorations and things out of season in there. And it was like, the hideaway spot. So that was my firehouse. So I'd open up those doors. I'd have my flight suit in there, my proton pack, and my dog was usually Slimer. So I'd get the call. I'd put the flight suit on. I'd get the pack. I'd open up the swinging doors. My dog knew shit was on. And I would start chasing her everywhere to trap her.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's early young childhood, and somehow I'm 40 and I'm still doing it, and it's great.
Do you still have
That's
that
awesome.
that suit?
I wish, man. No, I wore it till it was busted, and my family was big on hand-me-downs. So one of my younger cousins got it. And then I got some of my older cousins' clothes, and that's how that kind of stuff went.
Yeah. Matt, I had this random question. Like, were bowling alleys a big thing back over across the pond, or not really?
Not when I was a kid. No, not when I was a kid. Now they are a big thing in the UK. But yeah, and actually on that topic of kind of what was available in the UK around the time of the movie. So I was years old when that came out in the theaters. And I went to see it. I mean, Doc, you were saying you went to see it on went to see it. You watched it on VHS.
The first one.
I went back to the cinema. We call it the cinema in Britain, but the theater to see that. I think 8 times.
Wow.
There you go.
When I was years old, and and because I mean that film had a profound effect on me, and that it's a as we know, a funny film, but also we've talked about this in slightly different ways, but the kind of the realism of the props and the realism of the scenario just kind of really struck me. And this whole idea of believing that I could be a Ghostbuster, as you mentioned earlier, was just right there for me. And we didn't have, so to kind of your point about what's in Britain or what was in Britain, I don't think I mean, maybe we did, but I never saw any like dress up type toys at all. And it might have been partly because I was aging out at Ghostbusters 2, but I actually saw Ghostbusters 2 6 months before anyone in the UK because I was in America when it came out.
Wow.
And so I had the bubblegum cards, and I had the
bad toothpaste, the bad cereal.
Yeah. And then for a long time, I had even had the Hardy's Cup. You know the
yeah,
the Ghostbusters 2 Hardy's Cup. I had that as well for a long time until it kind of got broken. And none of these things really meant anything to folks in Britain when I came back. Like with all of these spoils from my trip to America. With a slight American accent, because I obviously wanted to, be American, I guess.
Yeah.
and
you're stuck between two worlds, right?
I am. I definitely am now.
America, you're not American enough.
No, I don't know what I am now. And all my kids are gone to American school, so it's a whole thing. My kids can do both accents. When they're with their friends, they're American. When they're with me, they're British.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I love the accent.
So there's a picture of me actually. Archer, that first video where I first rode in the Ecto with Nick.
Yeah.
There's a little picture of me that I threw in because I think I say in the car, if my 10-year-old self could see me now. And there's a little picture of me in a blue raincoat with a little Ghostbusters logo that I drew myself, that I cut out and wore. And that was kind of the and I remember I used to get my parents to like drop me outside scary looking abandoned houses because I thought I was going to find ghosts there. Yeah. I was a Ghostbuster. Yeah, there was this like house, I think, not far from the school I went to, and it, I was like, I'm going to find a ghost, and so I went on into this abandoned house. I can't imagine why my parents like even let me.
Oh, there we go.
There it is. There it is. That's
Love
me.
It.
That's as far as I could get back then. I can't remember if I ever made myself a proton pack. I can't imagine that I didn't, because I made all sorts of crazy things when I was a kid. I made like a full-size Johnny 5 from Short Circuit, and
oh, nice.
I used to make, but all out of cardboard. I made Daleks, I made Cybermen because I was big into Doctor Who. Everything was cardboard, and
none of us
what
got
an amazing
to the end
material.
of a thing of wrapping paper without having a lightsaber fight.
Yep.
Exactly.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, and that kind of goes back to the other point you were saying, that wonderful thing about the baking tin being the cyclotron right on your proton pack, and like there's something really joyous in found objects being part of props. I just love that when you see a movie and you go, I know what that is. That happens to me in Alien. So obviously Alien was made in the UK, and there's like a very distinctive, in those corridors, they go through, there's this bit where Dallas is kind of slumped up in a corner with the flamethrower. And the tracker, and there's basically this kind of repeated object, which is essentially a crate, and then there's this weird kind of cone that comes out of it that's got like little slots in it. That is the top of a pipe. So in Britain, on all of the our plumbing is slightly different. We have slightly larger plumbing in the UK compared to here, and the kind of stack for the toilet, it's the cap that goes on the top to stop birds and crap kind of getting in there. And you see that over and over and over again in Alien, and I'm just like, dang, I recognize this, I recognize that. When I was a kid, the Daleks, like their little lights on at the top of their head, they were like the indicator bulbs from a Mini Cooper. Things like that. Yeah.
Now, absolutely obsessed with that franchise too. That's probably my second to Ghostbusters is Alien and Aliens. I get that 100%. Found things that you can improve on. Like I said, being a tradesperson, that's what got me into doing a lot of these builds. Was just like, I know what all that stuff is. They're using it wrong, but I know what it is. And one of the things about Ghostbusters that's so great too is they don't do that. They use a lot of it the right way. They use a lot of things in the right fashion. And it's one of those things you can just keep going back to the well with it. And they had so much thought and care behind it. But yeah, no, found objects to improve on in the great day and age we live on. Props that are available now, may it be Spirit or Halloween.com or HasLab. Yeah. These are such giant leaps forward for all of us. It's a great time to be a geek. It's a great time to be a nerd, to pick these things up. And you can take a $25 or $50 prop and make it a $350 prop with some TLC, with some love and care.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Right there. And it's never been like that. We're all talking about, we got a sheet of ABS that we cut up and welded on. We got some cardboard. Because that's all we had back then. 3D printing, any of that stuff was so, like, besides being Star Trek and a replicator or something, did not exist. We would never touch anything like that. So, I mean, broom handles as lightsabers, anything we could find to make a toy, make armor. We all, I'm sure, duct taped sticks together to make sais and nunchucks. Like all of us got a liner out of a trench coat someone was throwing away and was raff in the backyard. Like, that's the way we had to do it. And we live in an age now where we can go get this stuff on the internet and find some stuff. And there's such a wealth of knowledge out there that you can watch some YouTube videos and really take stuff to the next level pretty quickly.
Well, there wasn't nunchucks in the UK because I don't know, did a little tidbit of different. I mean,
pepperoni.
I know.
So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the UK was Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles,
right?
In the UK,
right.
And the movie, the live action movie, was given like a rating. I think it might have been given a 15 rating. I might be wrong about that. You might need to check. But there was this whole thing about nunchucks.
Yeah,
that was like a big issue in the UK, and ninjas like being evil.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you go to the comics, they kill Shredder with a grenade in the
first issue.
The whole thing ends with a grenade fight.
Yeah,
they murder people.
It does.
Awesome.
When I visited here in as a teenager, it was crazy to me. I would you turn on the TV and there was stuff on that you just couldn't see in Britain, right? And I was like, how is this on during the day? How is this on during the day? And wait, like what is a melon farmer, and why is that something that you might call somebody as an offensive term? And why is this blurred? Like, it was just so bizarre to me that when I first came here as a kid, I was like, the context of these films is completely unchanged.
Yeah.
Whereas in the UK, they're just like, the context is the bad thing. So that needs to be for when you're older. It isn't the bad language and the nudity of the problems. It's the fact that people are killing each other that's the issue. It's the issue that at 10 o'clock you're watching somebody shoot up drugs on television. And I remember going, I'm so confused. I don't understand.
Oh my God.
America really is still the Wild West.
Well, yeah. I mean, well, we were restrained for the longest time with what was considered um, to be allowed by the film industry, right? So right up until basically the mid '70s, they had a code of conduct and rules, very strict rules. And one
Right.
of the main rules was bad guys can't win, and they got to lose at the end of the movie.
Yep.
They have to be punished, and the good guys got to make out.
Yep.
And then they finally got through that, and people said, well, I'll just make my own movie. And then you get Taxi Driver.
Yep.
Then you get, Deliverance. Then you get all these movies where you're like, what the hell is going on?
Mhm.
And that freedom and exploration into just strangeness, I think really just, yeah, it's a very American thing. I'm sure it is, right? And it was very different than what was around the rest of the world and kind of sparked a revolution around the world. Now,
Yeah.
you can say the same thing if you want to talk about Italian and French films, forget that, or German films for that matter.
Yeah.
They got us way beat.
Yep.
But yeah, the suppression and the taboo of certain things, I think it just makes people want it more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do
And
you
the
guys
thing is-
remember? Do you guys remember the first, or what movie caused the PG-13 rating? Do you guys remember what that was?
In
No,
the
but
UK,
somehow-
the debate was Gremlins was the big debated movie in the UK because it got a 15 rating, and in Britain that means you can't watch it until you're absolutely 15 years old. You can't even go in with an adult like you can with an R here in the United States.
Oh,
So,
that's BS. I wouldn't have saw
yeah.
anything if that was the case.
So yeah,
My brother was my legal guardian since he was 15, so that works fine.
There you go. So yeah, that was what sparked the debate because it's kind of on the line, that movie. I mean, when you watch it now, it's very not bad at all compared to what gets like a PG-13 rating. But then I think
Well, it
Batman
was,
was the first movie that was what we called a 12 in the UK.
Okay. For the States, it was Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom is what caused the big stink
Alima.
of the PG.
Yeah, I mean,
Ripping
ripping somebody's
tearing the
heart
heart
out.
out and
Bit much.
eating monkey brains and
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Strangely enough, to go back to Archer's childhood trauma, Jaws is PG.
that's
That's
crazy.
crazy.
That's crazy.
yes,
How is
Yeah.
that? How is that a PG?
That was
It
gonna
wasn't
be
a
my
PG in
answer.
Britain.
That was gonna be my guess for PG-13. I was gonna be like, oh, maybe
Nope.
Jaws was the one that like they were like, oh, we need a whole new ranking for this.
yeah,
can't-
you think so? You think
I need
so?
to check, but I can't. I'm pretty sure that was a 15 in the UK.
Yeah, no, it's fine. There's a naked woman at the beginning of it. Brutally murdered teenagers, and then a guy gets eaten alive and scars poor Archer with a blood
Yeah.
spurt. It's fine. This is totally acceptable for all ages.
There's a number of. I mean, the other film. I didn't realize this. I was looking. They've got some screening of Poltergeist coming up. I think in New Jersey, and I was looking at some of the history of it. And Poltergeist was a PG.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
How was
Ooh.
Poltergeist a PG?
yeah. They didn't
So,
swear in it. They're just going to make you not sleep for a month. It's fine.
Yeah, that scene in front of the mirror where he sees his
Oh
like
my
whole
God,
face.
yeah.
Like, how is that a PG? I can't. It's crazy to me. That's terrifying even now.
Yes,
Just the
yes, it is.
just the chair moving in the kitchen as a kid was like, nope, I'm
Yeah.
done.
And the
Forget
pool
this.
scene, the pool with all the
Yeah, the pool.
corpses. What?
Yeah.
Yes.
You move
Yep.
the headstones, but you never move the bodies.
Ah. Dear,
So
oh dear.
Wes, I feel like we got to talk about Ghostbusters Day at one point. So we'll get to that after this next part.
Fair enough.
I'm loving this, by the way. I knew we were gonna deviate, and I'm all for it.
Sorry,
I'm gonna keep the
guys.
deviation going. I'm gonna let Wes go first on this one. So and Doc, you kind of answered it already, but maybe you have a different answer. But what is the other fandom that you guys are like really obsessed with that, maybe you just don't get a chance to even dedicate a lot of prop time to, but like it's your jam. Like it's like if I could cosplay 1B, it will be this one. I'll let
Sure.
Wes lead off on that one.
Well, as you know, obviously, Back to the Future is probably a close. That's right up there with Ghostbusters, and we actually have cosplayed as Doc and Marty. But another one, like I kind of mentioned, Indiana Jones franchise, I love. from like a prop standpoint, Indiana Jones, I've got a few things that I've started to sell for Indiana Jones. The next franchise I'd kind of like to break into would be maybe some Jurassic Park stuff. I've got some ideas for some Jurassic Park things, so we'll see what comes down the road for that. And I kind of skipped over Severance. I have done some things for Severance, which it sounds like Matt has as well, so that's cool. But I don't know, those late '80s, '90s movies, those big blockbuster movies. That's where my heart is for like the props and the fandom and things like that.
Yeah. Doc, what do you got?
I'd like to introduce you to a personal friend of mine. This is the M41A pulse rifle. Upper and lower, it shoots a 10 millimeter caseless round with a grenade launcher beneath. Aliens is my jam. Aliens is my movie. I can tell you every Marine. I can tell you every weapon. I can tell you every piece of vehicle and tech. That is near and dear to my heart. The name of my company is Tools and Talent Props. Where'd that come from? It's obviously Ghostbusters, but it's not secular. My Ghostbusters real division is Ecto Ordnance, which kind of plays heavy on the whole aliens marine thing. But anyways, it's a mashup.
Didn't even catch that.
So,
love that.
Well, I mean, if you think the Ghostbusters are the cops, Ecto Ordnance are the Marines. So that's where my brain goes with my little world I'm building here. You need a local force, but you need guys to show up when there's an actual interdimensional threat. When you need some people that are dedicated to it full time, heavy hitters, fire team units. I have a whole mythos, and it's kind of why I broke it down like that into squads. So the whole Ecto Ordnance thing is based off of fire teams, and it's based off of controlling, containing, and force protection. But yeah, no, Aliens is I've dedicated so much of my mental space and thought to LV-426, to where did the derelict spacecraft come from? They honed in an alien on a beacon signal, sent down company orders. Okay, what did that turn out to be? Well, Ripley, after decoding, says it's a warning signal. Okay, why is it a warning signal? And then it's too late, right? All the events happen. She gets thrown back into an Aliens. James Cameron, oh my God, I'm sure all of our childhoods from Aliens to Terminator, like, does the guy miss? True Lies. I mean, like, banger after banger after banger. Aliens is just it hit at the right time for me. It's scary enough. It's actiony enough. It's badass enough. It's unapologetic. It has just the right mix of all the things that I love about Ghostbusters 2. It's real things. It's real scenarios. And, again, Ghostbusters 2, shit happens. Who are you going to call? You're going to call in the Marines. You're going to call in the Ghostbusters. You got to call somebody.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely going to dip my toes into doing some more props for Aliens. The first full cosplay I built for my wife was a Colonial Marine. So we would go to cons. I'd be a Ghostbuster. She'd be a full Colonial Marine, pulse rifle, full setup. I just got done finishing a motion tracker for her. We got a grenade harness that's going to be coming out. So yeah, that's near and dear to my heart. And again, it's one of those fandoms that you can go back to, and every time you watch it, you're going to get something more from it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you watch it, you're going to see something else. And that world, barring Ridley Scott's latest releases, is just, it's intriguing as hell. It hit me at the right age, and absolutely love it. Also, Star Wars and all the other good stuff, and Marvel. But
yeah. Have you seen this before we go to you, Matt? Ghostbuster Logan?
Oh my God, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys have
smart
seen
gun
this.
/ proton.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
He put a full cyclotron on it.
That's awesome. I love those
Yeah.
mashups. They're so fun.
I think it's his wife.
Mm-hmm.
She has full chest plate armor, and instead of things going against bugs on it, it says, like, I'm not afraid of no ghosts and things. Yeah, the guy went so hard with it. It's awesome.
Oh, it's funny. I just noticed your comment on there.
Great.
There you go.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's great. She got the moves down.
Yep.
Yeah, and
as
the
well.
cyclotron in the middle. That's right where the clip went too. It's right where the barrel cylinder went, holding all the ammo. The cyclotron's there. It's perfect.
That is a thing of beauty.
Ain't it?
Yeah.
This is my 56. My Proton 56.
My brain is kind of like breaking with the love of those two franchises being put together. I'm
It
like,
exists.
oh my gosh, what's happening?
No.
This is amazing.
When I saw that, I was like, "Yep, this is a simulation. This
Yeah.
is all fake. Nobody would have
Oh,
thought of this. Why is this getting
it's
fed to me?
great.
Damn you, algorithm!" I instantly messaged him like, "Dear God, man."
Yeah.
I think Anthony. I think I remember seeing that as a link Anthony had sent me
hmm
a while back. I think that was. If
Amazing.
I remember seeing that correctly.
That was part of the motivation for the rifle.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
So good.
Uh,
So good.
So yeah, Matt, what's your 1B that is your jam, and maybe it's something that you haven't cosplayed yet, but you would want to get into the cosplay world
Well,
for it.
Well, I mean, folks have mentioned kind of a lot of the things I love. So, I mean, any of those kind of 80s, 90s films, I mean, the Indiana Jones trilogy, Back to the Future trilogy, our Halloween experience we did last year was Back to the Future. And that was so much fun to bring that to life. Alien and Aliens, just Doc, you talked about wearing out Ghostbusters as a tape. That was Aliens was the tape I wore out as a teenager, just watching it over and over and over again. I think I had that. It's a poster you can't get anymore, but there was this poster that they did of an alien breaking through a door. And I had it on my door, even though it used to terrify me. I'm like, I'm cool. I'm gonna have this. Really
Are you
cool,
guys
scary poster.
Are you guys guilty of going to the movie shop and asking for the things after the promotion was done? The local
100%.
rental store.
Always.
Yeah. When we were
Always.
kids, you would go in and you'd see the display and you'd be like, "So when you're done with that, I don't know, work
Yeah.
something out. I'll shovel your
100%.
snow. I'll take
Yep.
out your trash. How do I get that Velociraptor?"
I ended up with the whole Ninja Turtles display from the first film.
No.
Wow.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's
And
crazy.
it had, I can't remember, I think it was Raphael or maybe it was Michelangelo. It was like three of them, and one of them was like looking out of a manhole cover.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh,
But I
that's
remember having that in
awesome.
my bedroom for a long time.
Wow.
That's cool.
That would go for crazy money right now.
It would. It
If
would.
only we knew.
Yeah.
Yeah. The amount
Yeah,
of
I mean-
things. Yeah.
No, I was just going to say Jurassic Park. I think is one of my favorites. And
Mhm.
I mean, I did a raptor in containment. So in the I built an animatronic raptor. That was a lot of fun to build, and I got a couple of things in my pipeline that I'm building at the moment ahead of the release of
Oh yeah.
the new one,
movie.
which I hear.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what I can say. I hear good things from people that know. I'm just
Really?
gonna say-
Excellent.
I'm just gonna say that because I don't want to burn any bridges or but yeah,
cool.
I hear good things about the horror level and the return to the original Jurassic Park
Oh, I
fear
can't wait.
vibe. So I'm kind of excited, and I'm a fan of Gareth Edwards, so I'm excited about it. But yeah, I've been building a Barbasol can. It's a prop I've wanted for ages, so I've been
Oh yeah.
playing with the 3D print of that, and it's actually not. There's a few things about it, but there's a Barbasol can that you can buy on Amazon, which is for high. It's like a kind of safe
Airport
implant
security
thing.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Again,
And it's
found
just
stuff.
exactly. It's just a little bit smaller because of the way the base is than the original can. So if you 3D print something that's the exact replica, doesn't quite fit. So I then 3D print. I took everything down to 94%, fits in perfectly. But now all my little
Vials.
containers for DNA, they don't fit. So I've got to go and
Aw.
remodel.
All right, more found objects. Just go get the disposable eye drops. Those are perfect size. You can put those right in.
Ah, there you go. There you go. Yeah,
They
I'll have to
are.
look at that.
Man,
But yeah.
I gotta have one of those too. That's cool.
We got
Yeah.
Dotson here.
I-
Dotson's here.
I remember going to next to the bar back home in New York, going to one of the smoke shops. just to look. I didn't buy any substances there, but they. I remember seeing like Pepsi bottles, the shave can, like all sorts of stuff. And I'm like, why are you selling like pharmacy stuff here? And he's like, dude, he's like, oh, got it.
Uh-huh.
Before I move on, Wes, do you have something?
No, I was just laughing. I said, you said I didn't get anything at the smoke shop, and I go, right.
Yeah. Can confirm or deny those allegations.
Never exhaled.
Exactly. Well, we do have, before we end up wrapping today's episode, I got to bring you guys on again, obviously, because there's still so much that we could cover, especially the Severance stuff. But Ghostbusters Day coming up, the, 41st anniversary, we'll say. 5-year anniversary of the actual event, which is crazy.
Yep.
So I guess the general question I would ask, unfortunately, I know Wes is not going to be able to make it this year. Hopefully, Wes, you can make it. You and the missus can make it up next year.
I'm hoping so.
By the way, sidebar, if you need anything, you just let me know. I can always make a trip to the post office.
Thank you.
So what are we looking forward to out of this year's Ghostbusters Day? I'll start with Matt on this one, then we'll go Doc, and then I'll end it with Wes in case he does want some items sent to him down in the great state of Florida. Matt, what do you got?
Oh, wow. I mean, so much to look forward to this year. I thought last year was actually my first Ghostbusters Day. Amazing. Same. I mean,
Yep.
I don't know how that has happened, but that is the case. And
Yeah, same for me.
It was awesome. I mean, the best part of it, and I think I've heard you say this, Archer, as well, like, was just meeting the other fans, right? And meeting people that, even bumping into people that was bizarre to me that had watched the channel and followed me, which was totally crazy and really lovely.
It's
and
so much fun.
Yeah, just so much fun and great people. And driving in, I was very lucky to be in one of the Ectos that came in the convoy, and that was crazy. 3 Ectos in the Holland Tunnel together. That was nuts.
I've never been so mad to have missed a call. Actually, I hit ignore because I was in the subway when you called me, and I was like, I'll call him when I get out of the subway, and it's because he was giving me the heads up that they were coming around the corner in the convoy.
Right. Yeah. So that was crazy. And what am I looking forward to this year? I mean, I didn't think it could possibly be bigger than last year because it was the 40th anniversary, right?
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't imagine it. And then, it's announced that Jason's coming.
Yeah.
which is crazy. And that Hasbro have got some exciting new things to reveal to us, which I'm very excited about. I have some hopes and thoughts about what that is. But yeah, I mean, very excited for that. And I'm actually also excited. I don't know if you're managing to get there for that, but I'm kind of looking forward to the Yes Have Some party ahead of it as well. I think that'll be fun too. So
tomorrow night,
I know there's potentially some special guests coming. We'll see who those end up being. But yeah. I mean, so much to look forward to. But the main thing is just meeting other fans and chatting with them.
Yeah. Doc, what do you got?
I have the privilege of not only going to Ghostbusters Day again this year, but I've actually been working with the newly christened Ecto 1 Manhattan. So we're going to be delivering some custom-made props and some commissioned items for them and for their Ecto. So I'm very excited about doing that. Been working closely with them. So we're going to kind of do a little bit of a showcase probably around 1 o'clock. So that's a big highlight for me. That's not something I was planning on doing this year. Through mutual friends, we got connected, and I kind of laid down what he was looking to get. And it's very exciting for us. We had some announcements that were worked up kind of into the day, and then a month ago that got thrown in my lap. So it's been all hands on deck to get some stuff built for them. And that'll be great. Look forward to seeing everybody there, meeting people in person like always. Like you've said before, Archer, you see the patch and all of a sudden you get linked to the person you've been talking to. And hey, it's great. You get to bounce around a little bit. I always love seeing people, rocking my gear and rocking my props. That's always a big rush for me. So we got those things going on. Not as big as Hasbro, but that's okay. I'm also going to be launching. Here comes the shameless plug part of the podcast. We're going to be the day of. We'll be doing some reveals on a bunch of new items that are coming out. And yeah, it's just going to be a big love fest for Ghostbusters, man. Super pumped for it, and super pumped to show up our new offerings for franchise level and personal collectors. Some of the bigger commissioned items. So yeah, it's going to be a great day. Hopefully the rain stays where the heck it's showing it's staying, which is early in the morning because it's been changing by the hour, and I'm not stressed at all. You can tell by the tone of my voice.
I'm really interested with the Ecto One Manhattan. Are you doing some of the install stuff ahead of coming in, or is it happening at the? Because I'm riding in that car.
Yeah. So been working with James and Nick, and we're going to be bringing them some kit around 1:00. Awesome. I actually sent Archer a couple photos. If you want to pop those up, you can. We can leak some of it now. It's close enough.
Oh, you want me to show it on screen?
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, okay.
I've been teasing everybody long enough. But yeah, it's a new take on kind of the rollout gear and have more of a display when they're set up. So yeah,
that's great.
Gotham Cinemas and the Ecto One Manhattan are going to be working on a lot of really exciting things coming up, and they're going to be doing a lot of tours coming up and displays. So they wanted something to complement the level of work that they're putting into that Ecto. I actually, not to name drop because you should never do that. Bobby De Niro taught me that. But anyways, I got some pictures earlier of them working on the Ecto One Manhattan. Dear God, when you think you can't grin any harder to get a video of seeing an engine revving and then pulling back, we're just fixing the hood and we're working on this. I mean, breathtaking.
Oh, this is great. Yeah, Nick actually showed me this. This is fantastic.
That's awesome.
Yeah. This is
the Ecto Ordnance Equipment Crate, otherwise known as the Boo Box. So everything you need to fight any paranormal, dimensional crossing entity that might come across your way, you can roll out with one of these and meet the challenge at hand.
Yeah. I mean,
Minus
one of
Glenn
the
Close.
issues... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I just said minus Glenn Close.
Minus Glenn Close, yeah.
Well,
I mean,
actually,
no
there's a
Robin
little
Williams,
flap
no
at the
Dustin
back.
Hoffman.
If you open it, and there's Glenn Close's in there.
Yes.
That's right.
Little compartment.
I mean,
This will be...
Go ahead.
No, this is complete with the Pulp Fiction effect of when you open it up, lights do come on.
yellow
you stare
lights.
at it, you wonder what the hell it is.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's genius because like one of the issues I think we all have is how do you transport all your gear? Like and we're all like, I have like 5 different cases to like get stuff around. And then you see this and you're like, wow, it literally is everything all nice and snug and pretty.
Yeah.
In a weatherproof, travelable, wheeled conveyance.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful. I'm so excited to see it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Have you ever taken it through TSA?
So, funny story. PK meters are allowed, but they will put you in a separate line and ask you a lot of questions.
I was going to say, take that to TSA.
No.
It's like, you go to this line over here, way over here.
Yeah. I remember I had to travel with a sexton because I went to maritime school, and for our summer internship, you got to go to ship and do celestial navigation and all sorts of stuff. And some guy at TSA, I remember he was looking at it. It was in a giant wooden box too. And he opens this thing up and it's just like, "Are you a doctor?" And I was like, "Yes."
Yeah. Yes, I am. I'm a doctor of journalism.
Yes. Well, like I said, Wes, unfortunately, you won't be able to attend, but are there any maybe even news things you're hoping to hear out of it? Or is there something from there that you're just like, I can't wait for footage of blank to come across the table?
Yes, and first of all, let me back up a little bit. When somebody asks you if you're a doctor, you say yes.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
No, I'm really looking forward to see what the Jason Reitman announcement is.
hmm
Oh yeah.
And I really wish I could get some of the swag up there. I love the T-shirt and would love one of those license plates. Hint, hint. Um, but I would just love, honestly, just to be up there with everybody, enjoying it with everybody, and it just didn't work out again this year for us to come up. But I really want to get up there next year.
Yeah. I mean, I remember telling the guys last year towards the end of it, I was like, I feel like it's not going to get any smaller. Like, I feel like,
Yeah.
even though for a lot of us it was our first year, but the energy, the camaraderie, like, I was just like, dude, I don't see how this gets smaller. I could see that, 50 being like humongous, like, can they
Yeah.
even contain it here, pun intended? But like, I don't, I was like, I don't see it getting any less busy than it was last year. And Jason coming, I mean, that just throws it over the edge.
Yes.
I think that's the start of a trend that should
Yeah.
be happening on this
Yeah.
day. I mean, to have such a dedicated fandom with most
Yeah.
people traveling from many, many miles away.
Yep.
I mean, I'm a kid who grew up in Western Massachusetts, so for me, New York City might as well have been, I don't know, Seattle. Like, it didn't exist to me.
Right.
But
Right.
for people last year, I'm sure everyone can contest that was there. People from Texas, people
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
California, people from Maryland. Like, they make the journey. We're the ones keeping this thing alive. I would imagine that there's going to be more of a showing and more releases, and it's just going to keep the whole thing going, man.
Yeah.
People from the UK. There were people
Yeah.
from the UK
Oh,
last
yeah.
year that
I ran into a bunch of them guys.
and
Yep.
yeah, Popular Tribe is going to be there. Surely Ghostbusters is going to be there this year. Been keeping in touch with them. Yeah, it's got a global attraction, which is it's just fascinating. Yeah,
Well,
and
I always think of Answer the Second
Yeah.
Call. She comes up from Australia. Like, she
Dear
usually
God.
flies like 4 days in advance just to be there.
yeah, it's huge.
She time travels, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
But I mean, like, just to echo that point that Doc said, because that's how we met in person. Like, it's not only is it special because it's free, which I think even in today's day and age means more to people, that like, I can take my kid to this event and it's not going to be any burden on me to do that other than
Yeah.
just getting there.
Right.
But just like running into people that like you've never met in real life, but like you recognize the pack, you recognize the patch, you recognize like all the little details, and you're like, oh wait, you're blank. It's, to me, that was like the craziest thing. Even, running into you in the bar, it was just like, I saw the patch and I was like, holy shit, I know that guy.
Hey, man.
Yeah. I was like, I know
I
that
like
patch.
your stuff. I
Yeah.
like your stuff too.
Yeah. So that experience. And then, like when I ran to Matt for the first time there, like, it wasn't even like like, so crazy to meet you, big fan. You just roll in like we've already known each other for so
we do.
long,
So weird.
Exactly.
We were crossing the streams, right? I think
we
at
were.
the time.
Yeah. Yep. So those are the moments I think that makes the community, so special and great. What I'm afraid of though is a day where it does become mainstream to the extent that
Sure.
there needs to be a ticket charge, or the city requires permits to do it. So we
Yeah.
got to move it somewhere else. Like, that's what I fear, but
I think if they keep it in spirit of what it is, which is a fundraiser
right.
for Hook and Ladder, it's a celebration of the city and the franchise, and at the end of the day, everyone walks away with a net positive, and the city made some money and the firehouse made some money. I think that, yeah, that'd be met with some opposition. I definitely have had the same kind of thing crawling in the back of my head. Like, one day we'll get $20 bottle of water here,
Mm-hmm.
and that'll be great. But I
Mhm.
hope
Yeah.
that doesn't happen, and I hope that this fandom would sound that alarm if it did happen, because there's nothing but love at this event, and there's nothing but good things that happen for the city and the firehouse and the
Mm.
Ghostbusters community. So I really hope that's not the case.
I do also kind of find some joy in knowing that while they tried to start a new tradition by celebrating the 7th in LA, New York is still the one that everybody
Yeah.
travels to. It's still the Mecca.
Yes. Yep.
Sorry, it's New York.
Yeah.
It's a New York movie.
Actually, last question, I'll throw it around because I seem to be the only New Yorker here now that I think about it. So,
What are you talking about? I said I was from Brooklyn, didn't you?
Big up Brooklyn.
So, yeah, exactly. I'll just keep the order going. I'll go with Wes. We'll go around. Was New York City did it become like the place to be for you watching that movie, or I should say, did it become the place to go because of that movie, or was New York City already a thing for you, or because to me, as a newer Ghostbusters fan, which I don't know if everybody knows this, I only got into it almost 5 years ago now. The first time I watched the movie, I was like, New York City's a character to this. It seemed like its own thing. So did this put New York City on the map for you? Did it make you want to move to New York City? Where did New York City fall in love? Or where was New York City in this love you had for the fandom? I'll start with Florida up top.
I would say since I saw Ghostbusters when I was 4 years old, and it really, for me, Ghostbusters is what, obviously there's other things I would love to see in New York, because I've actually never been to New York City before. I've been out to LA to the Sony lot and got to see Ghost Corps and all of that, but I still never have been to New York City. And that is I've told Melissa, it's like when we go there, it's like when we get off the plane, the first place I want to drive is over there at Tribeca to Oak and Ladder 8. But literally, everything, whenever I'm watching a movie or something that's set in New York, it's like I remember watching Elf, and I'm like, hey, that's Spook Central, that's Dana Barrett's apartment, that's that's where the dad lives. So everything is gets compared to that. So really, it's the city will always, Ghostbusters in New York City always are together for me.
Yeah. Doc?
Yeah, previously said, being a kid from the sticks where we had more cows than people in Western Massachusetts, Boston was our big city, right?
Yeah.
So, you'd go to Boston and they'd be like, "Where are you from, kid?" You'd be like, "Western Mass." They're like, "How far?" You talking about Brookline? No, keep going western. Like the farms? Yeah, dude. Yeah, we're from the farm. So for me, New York City was the moon. I'd never be there. But as a young kid, Ghostbusters, Ninja Turtles, Home Alone 2, everything was New York. If it was a movie and it was big and there was things happening, it was in New York. But it was not. I mean, might as well been on the moon. It was a place you'd never go and you're never going to see, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it is a character. It is its own thing, and started going there in the 90s, and you very quickly realize that the hype is real.
Yeah,
and there's a reason why it's New York City, right? So it's definitely a character. It definitely makes movies, even the Avengers, everything else. It's so cool to go there and actually see what you've seen in film, to actually stand where a shot was, to see the aspect ratio, to look back and go that's the frame. That's it right there. And to get ultra dorky, if you guys were fans and if you guys played the Ghostbusters video game that came out in, what was it, 2010, 2011? So one with the full cast that Harold Ramis wrote and Dan Aykroyd wrote.
Mm-hmm.
Great game.
That is essentially the third movie.
Yes.
And if you haven't played it, go play it. It's remastered. It's available on all platforms. So it's not a paid for ad. I just play it 5 times a year, and I absolutely love it because it's in the same vein and core of the original franchises, and they even expand on and explain why it's in New York. They explain why these things are happening throughout the city, why that was a place that Ivo Shandor went to set these actions in motions. Because that's always the thing about the first movie, it's like, yes, there's paranormal things. It's understood. There's all this history. Why then? Why now? What has caused it? And it's just a perfect, you know, accompaniment of locations, people, experiences that all kind of pull that together. So, yeah, there's no city like New York.
Yeah. And then Matt from across the pond. The
Yeah,
pond
I
being
mean,
the East River.
yes, the East River, exactly. Just over the bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, very very similar sentiments, really. I lucky enough to have lived close to the city and work in the city now, and the idea, I think, when I was a kid, of that at some point in the future I'd be working in New York City was just like, no,
Yeah.
how
No.
could that be? How could that be a thing? So I think that in itself, and Europeans in general, I think there's a love for New York, and I think it's for all the reasons we've just been talking about here, about the fact that it features, it's part of the cultural zeitgeist as something greater than the city it is, because of
Mm-hmm.
all the stories that we've consumed, and particularly, in Britain, we consume a lot of American media and American movies, and so I may be wrong about this, but Ghostbusters is the first time I can remember ever really seeing New York. It was the first time I'd ever kind of come across it, and it was, so alien to me and so cool at the same time, and a lot of the concepts that are conveyed, that I guess are kind of more in jokes for people that understood New York and understood America and all those kind of things. Those jokes, I mean, and again, when you're a kid, you don't always get all of the jokes either,
Right.
but a lot of those things were my foundations for what I kind of believed New York was, which is really interesting. The whole thing where Egan's like, this building's in a demilitarized zone,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
this idea looked like, oh, is that what New York's like?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey,
And
being
so,
miserable and treating people like garbage is every New Yorker's God-given right.
yeah, exactly. And even my first taste of American politics, like,
Yep.
Sorry.
voters, but the whole thing about the voters, and you
Yeah.
can save the
Yeah.
lives of all these
Aren't you supposed
registered
to lie to me
voters.
and kiss my butt?
So all of that kind of, as a kid,
You,
poured into my
Lenny.
brain and gave me this kind of sense of America and New York and what it meant. And, even, you guys know this, right? Seeing yellow cabs and just all of those iconic things. And so when I first, I mean, I've been to New York before I moved here, but coming here and kind of turning up at a New York office and realizing that the whole thing where Janine takes off her work shoes and puts on her,
Yeah, house
we call
shoes.
them trainers in England, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, her soft shoes, and I'm like, that was literally me. I'm like walking to work with my dress shoes,
Yeah.
wearing running shoes, and I'm like, this is crazy. This is not only like I'm living this experience out, but it's also pretty accurate to,
Yeah.
to what I saw in the movie. So yeah,
Was there a level of comfort, or did you come over at an age where you recognized all the names? Because I remember being about 12 or 13 and we started doing world history. They started showing all the things in Britain. We're like, you live in New England? They're like, yeah. I'm like, wait a minute. So Manchester, Connecticut, New
Yeah.
London, there's a London, York, there's all this stuff named after that. They're like, yeah, they're Native American things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Apart from in New Jersey, where everything's named after Dutch stuff, we have like Hohokus
Sure,
and Wyckoff and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, lots of British towns and cities are replicated over here. So yeah,
Yep.
it's kind of a funny thing. But yeah, I mean, New York's incredible, and everyone that knows me knows that my only way of navigating New York City is by filming locations. That's
Yeah.
just what I know. Like, I don't know any of the real history of the city. I just know
yeah.
everything from a movie. The craziest thing was I was with my my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, and we were walking through the city. We just parked up, and we were coming around a corner, and I looked up at the building, and I was like, Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Dunder Mifflin's office in New York. I have no idea, by the way.
Mhm.
But I just looked at it, I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And like Adam scrolls on his phone, is like, yep, that's,
Yeah.
that's what it is.
That's
That's
funny.
the limit of my knowledge. Is like, oh, that was in this
Dude,
movie. That was
just-
in that movie.
Just stand in Grand Central Station and look like this thing has been destroyed in so
Yes.
many
Oh.
movies.
Right, right. I take people if they've got kids and they're staying in the city. I'm like, hey, do you want to see where the Battle of New York was in Avengers? Yeah,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
And go like try not to get run over on that road that goes up and round.
You want to see where Cyclops put a sunroof in
Right.
Grand
Yeah.
Central Station?
Yeah.
Right over there.
Yeah, it's a sad reality, but I like my reality. It makes me happy.
What
You're-
you make of it, my friend?
That's right.
I've completely forgot about this story. So one of the jobs I had, we had a new manager that came on board who was originally he was from like Argentina or something, but he lived around the United States and then finally came to New York City to take this job. And I was at my desk and I was taking out my sneakers at the end of the day to put my work shoes in there. And he was like, "Oh, you guys do that." And I was like, "What?" And it was that very thing. And I was, because again, you live there, you don't think about it. That's just your daily to do.
Right.
But then somebody else is like, "Oh wow, like that's a real thing I saw in a movie one time."
Yeah, it's such an alien thing
Yeah.
to people that are out of New York, and particularly just in Britain, particularly. I just remember seeing that as a kid and it being intriguing to me, and I was like,
Yeah.
"What?"
Yeah.
And I thought, is that part of her Janine's character? Is that a very specific thing to hear? Is that supposed to be telling me something
Yeah.
about her? And actually,
She's not
no,
walking
it's-
4 stories in her pumps. That's what it's telling.
Exactly.
Exactly. It's
Yep.
it's just a detail that is totally New York
That-
accurate. Yeah.
That is so funny. That's like I think the first time in as many times as I've seen that movie where I'm actually stopping and thinking about that scene now.
Oh, same. I not until just now that I was like, "Oh, that's right." Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird. It's weird what's sticking out. Even eating Chinese food out of those little boxes, right? The
Yes.
noodles. Like and that being a very New York thing. To me,
Getting
that
an
whole
actual
thing.
slice.
Even I think that might have been the first time like eating with chopsticks, right? I'm just
Mhm.
like, what is this?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so many. It was like an education, and I didn't realize it.
I mean, I
Wow.
could. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say the last of the petty cash, the Chinese meal.
Last.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do your food.
Yeah. No, it's like it's one of the things that like so my wife and I watch TV. One of the things that probably annoys her is like if we watch a movie and they're in New York City and they're like the most egregious one in my head, it will always be in Men in Black, the opening sequence when he's chasing the alien, how he gets
Oh, the
from
Guggenheim.
like Grand Central, all of a sudden he's at the Guggenheim, and I'm like, that's not even near it. Like that kind of stuff always bothers me. But
Yeah.
one of the things
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
oh no
Go
no
on. No, I was going to say same in John Wick.
Yes,
So
yeah.
the John Wick movie, he's going to some station on First
Yes.
Avenue,
yeah.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
you're not even in the subway. You're on
Yeah.
the PATH train to New Jersey.
The Common, the shoot with Common when one of them's on the top and they're shooting like this.
I know.
I'm like,
I
that's
know.
not even downtown. I mean, that's what are you
I
talking
know.
about?
It's crazy because it's ruined
Suspension of
every New York
disbelief.
movie for me forever.
it
now,
does.
'cause I know the city so well. I'm just
Yeah.
like, why are we
Yeah.
here?
They're
Even,
fooling the
what was it?
Floridian that's never been there.
Yeah, 13 going on 30, right? She's on Fifth Avenue. Her apartment's on Fifth Avenue.
Yeah.
It's actually just 3 blocks from my office. So it's like it's like 5th and, I don't know, it's 7th and 5th, somewhere around there, just before you get to Washington Square Park. And she gets out and the limo picks her up, right? And then she's going to go to downtown, to somewhere near Battery Park. I can't remember where it is, but it says it's downtown in the financial district is the gig that she's going to
Yeah.
before they do the like Thriller dance. Maddie, Thriller, Maddie. And 10 seconds later she's getting in the limo and then she's in Times Square. And I'm like, why would you go all the way up to
Yeah.
Times Square?
Yeah.
And I suppose the only thing you can say is she like had the limo, so she wanted to like take a tour of the city. That's how I imagine it. But
Yeah.
stuff like that, just like I'm
What
like,
a red button.
no.
I've said it many times on this podcast. I'm not ashamed. I'm fully immersed in the Real Housewife universe of things because of my wife. And the other day we one of the series that just ended, like they had their season premiere and they go out to the Hamptons every summer, like that's their the thing, and all the characters are getting picked up. Like they're like, oh, like we're gonna get in the car, we're gonna carpool, like who you gonna carpool with, and they're all getting in the cars and they pretend like they're picking each other up at like different places in the city, and I was like, wait, man, I was like, that's the same street, like they're all along the.
That's what they have the permit for, Archer. That's
exactly.
what they can afford the permit for.
But for one of them, I'm like, you guys didn't even bother to get past like the same building.
I know. The same stop
It's
sign.
the same color brick and everything outside.
Same homeless guy.
Same homeless guy.
In the same place.
And cut.
Yeah.
Well, you know, if you're into Real Housewives, literally the town next to ours is Franklin Lakes, New Jersey. So, you know, Housewives of New Jersey, it's all there.
That is my final frontier. I have not watched that season. That's the one that all the franchises I'm watching and have watched all will lead to apparently the GOAT series, which is the New Jersey.
The GOAT's New Jersey. Well, I mean, there's only one place that it can get that wild, and it's New Jersey. That's for sure.
Exactly.
Gosh.
But you know, one of the things that so I don't think it's a surprise to anybody, or maybe you guys didn't know this. Like I was not a big fan of Frozen Empire. Like I came out the movie and I was really disappointed in it. But one of the things that really bothered me about the movie was that they went back to New York, but only in story. They weren't actually there. And it felt like it felt so fake when they were there.
You could feel it. I agree.
Especially outside the library. Like I felt like that one was hard to replicate it. And it's funny, I was talking to the guy on Instagram, I forget his name, that he did a lot of the set design and 3D modeling and all that stuff. Super cool dude. And it's like, you got it all right. Like you got all the because you guys went there and you recorded it and you green screened it over, you know, whatever, or you imposed it on the green screen. You got all of it right, but you can't replicate the vibe. You just cannot replicate that feeling. And it's New York City. It's you AI the character in this movie that's supposed to be there. And it's, to me, that's one of the reasons why I think I didn't like it. There's other reasons, but I feel like that's the biggest one to me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's an interesting point. I mean, they, like you said, they all of that imagery was real, actual. It was real imagery. Yeah. Because when we were watching them film at the firehouse at the time, I was like, why are they taking the bug screens out of the windows at the firehouse? So there's a whole, if you watch my video on it, we're standing there and they're popping these bug screens out and putting a still camera in the window. And I was like, they're shooting reference material from every angle. So when they're shooting in the firehouse that they built in London, they've got exactly the right window.
What does that really speak to, though? The fact that they're going to build an entire replica of a street and a firehouse rather than film in New York City.
Yeah,
it says how expensive it is to film in New York City,
or how expensive it is to film in LA.
It's crazy, right?
And also the logistics too. The logistics of like blocking that street off, and like, can you imagine, like if Ghostbusters fans knowing they were filming? I mean, I watched your video, Matt. And it was a very well done video that you were talking about. But just the people that came out to see the Ecto going through the streets. But can you imagine if they were filming at the firehouse? I mean, I'd have found a way.
I'm sure that was part of it. I'm sure that was a part of it. I want to guess that part of it was Gil is based in the UK. I think that's got to be part of it as well. And also, I mean, it's interesting because, I mean, I'm sure all of us have watched the special features for Frozen Empire. That firehouse was just a thing of freaking beauty. That thing
absolutely.
Yeah.
And when we were at Ghost Corps a couple of weekends ago, and
subtle flex.
Well, it was nothing to do with me. It was all to do with Nick.
I was waiting for that one, Matt.
Oh yes, when I was at Ghost Corps.
When I was having beers with Jason outside the Ghost Corps headquarters.
I have to say,
we're having Chimay. Have you ever had Chimay? It has very particular. You probably don't know about it, but that's fine.
100% a hanger-on. So Nick very kindly invited me to go with him. Nick had made a very generous donation to the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and had been
Oh,
invited
beautiful.
to Ghost Corp to go, and I was very privileged to be his buddy,
one.
and another buddy of ours went as well. It was so it was super nice of him to invite us. But yeah, it was included a chat with Jason, who, you know, you guys, if you guys have met him, just a wonderful person. But he actually, I can't remember the topic of conversation, but he was just expressing the pain of knowing that beautiful firehouse just had to be destroyed.
Yeah.
Gone. And just, he was like, oh, he said, because I think the conversation was, Nick was obviously, he was very, very fascinated about Nick's car collection and the process of restoring the cars, and just really, you know, he was very genuinely interested in the process, and you know, talking about these film artifacts that are of value. And then it got onto, I think, the firehouse, of just like, he was just like, oh, it was just lovely. If we could have kept it. Yeah, you know, I mean, can you imagine? Every single one of us would have paid good money to go walk around that place, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That could have been a theme park, you know, attraction.
Legit.
And
Yeah, it really could have. Well, and that brings up another point too, is like, from the point of keeping spoilers down. I mean, that's probably another reason they had to film it the way they did inside a soundstage.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, it was interesting, wasn't it? Because a lot of stuff, I suppose, became obvious from the footage in the city when we were watching it being filmed. And I think, I mean, I made the decision to keep my footage to myself until they dropped the trailer.
Yes.
And when I saw the trailer had so much of the sewer dragon chase in it, I was like, oh, this is fine. I can drop this now, because I'm not gonna, because I hate stuff being spoiled for me. But it was, you know, even down to the fact that there was the drone trap, right? That wasn't right either. All of that was out there, because I knew it was a drone trap from the footage, because my footage zoomed right in and you could see the drone icon. And there was
sticker.
Something. I had a sweatshirt that I picked up at Wonderverse. We did a little photograph shoot with McKenna and Eric Reich at Wonderverse, when Nick's car was at Wonderverse, and Eric very casually just dropped the comment that some of these images that were on my shirt were, you know, he'd chosen what could be on there, and some of them were a bit of a hint at the movie. And I was like, okay, I putting the pieces together here. But again, it was something I kind of kept to myself, because I just hate things being spoiled. So
my brain was running on overdrive when I saw that.
Yeah.
When I saw the dome. No, when I saw the dome on top of the Ecto, I was thinking, is that the Super Slammer? Is that going to be the Super Slammer from the video game?
Super Slammer from the video game.
I was like, oh man, maybe they're gonna build on that a little bit. So yeah,
go on. Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's just, who knows where that was going to go, right? And then that level of joy for a couple of weeks of me sitting there going like, maybe it's this, maybe it's that.
Right.
You never want to take that from anybody. You never want to take
That's
that.
part of the fun, isn't it? It's part of the fun is being, and it would actually, I mean, I remember standing at the roadside, and the ultra car geeks that we are about the Ecto, just looking at it going, what have they changed? Why have they changed that? What is it? And just, but like, when we're standing there going, this is a screen, like, this is the Ecto, this is the screen used Ecto, this is the car from the film.
What was the first thing you noticed? Just out of curiosity.
The pipes being silver
Chrome?
rather than
yeah, exactly.
That was the most obvious thing.
Oh, and then the pinstriping. It's got a red pinstripe.
Pinstripe.
Yeah, the red going all the way to the front of the hood. Yeah. And then the other thing was obviously the dome on the top. I think the first time we saw the car, the dome was not shut. It was open, and so there was this big empty spot on the roof. And they were very clever, because and again, as we know now, the order of the film, right, at the time, I guess it wasn't cleverness, it was just continuity. But the packs that they threw in the back for the stunt team, there was no differences. I mean, to me, that was something I was really excited. We stood there and watched them take packs out of flight cases and mount them in the back. and I was like, what's different? Is there anything different? Oh, there we go. That's me with the different packs.
Yes, very cool.
Dude, that was so cool, man. Those were the stunt packs. They were all made of foam rubber. That was like
Really?
Yeah,
so
it's
awesome.
wild.
Yeah. They were great. I couldn't help. I was just like, I had to just give a little squeeze to see
Yeah.
what material is this.
That's awesome.
And actually, I mean, I think straight after this, I probably texted Ben because I don't know if you know this, he wasn't directly involved in the same way, but he was an advisor on Frozen Empire for several things. And I was just texting going, "Oh, I got to touch these packs today." And I was just and he was, I mean, he's such a lovely, lovely person, and he was probably going, "Yeah, all right, whatever."
Another day, another dollar.
He actually told me when I was in Calgary, he had an open bet with anybody on the team, on the crew. He said, if any of you can put this pack on and not grin, I'll give you $250. And nobody won the $250. Because you know, you're holding and those packs, obviously they have the cyclotron and they vibrate and they put like force feedback type stuff in them so that it would give the
only
actors.
Way to do it, man.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way to do it. But I guess that was like, you know, before we had all the other cool toys that we have now, where it's kind of the norm. And so it was anyway. Yeah. I could riff for ages on this, so I'll shut up.
Well, no, I mean, this is some of the most fun I've had in a long time doing the show, and I love doing the show. It's a highlight of my week. But having you three on here was mint. It highlight.
Well, thanks for having me, man.
Of course.
Yeah.
Now, so Wes knows how this goes, but I'm going to give you the honor of going last, Wes, because I let you go first, but you'll go last now as the veteran. This is the segment of the show where I let you guys promote whatever you have coming out. Again, you can just remind the audience of, you know, your channels and if you have anything to promote, that kind of thing. So we'll lead off with Matt. We'll go to Doc, and then we'll end it with the legend himself, Wes, up there. So, Matt, as I say every week, plug yo shit.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's on the hat, creativegeekery.com. You can head there and find all the builds and all the behind the scenes tours that I've done. This Saturday for Ghostbusters Day, the How to Put Electronics in Your Proton Pack is coming out.
Nice.
It's the simple version. I know there are much more complex versions. It's the non-NASA scientist version of how to put electronics in your pack. And then the week after that, I'll have the finishing and weathering video. And then a whole bunch of Jurassic Park stuff coming up around the Jurassic World release as well.
Nice.
And I'm hoping to get back to, as you will have seen, I did an unboxing of the new Spirit trap, which is actually great in many ways. I was quite impressed with it. And so I just haven't had any time because I've been traveling so much. I love being in the workshop, and I keep saying to my wife, Esther, I'm like, I need to get back in the workshop. I've been traveling so much, but I'm gonna tear it down and do some mods because it's the law. It has to be done. So, but yeah, so all of that stuff's up there. If you want to subscribe to my YouTube, Creative Geekery, or go to my website, all of that stuff's there. And just love doing this stuff. We have a great community, and come join it. Come join it.
Love that. All right, Doc, you're on the docket. Plug yo shit.
All right, boys and squirrels. A lot of exciting stuff coming up. Again, go check out toolsandtalentprops.com for a bunch of our mods and gear. Please come and see us out at Ghostbusters Day. We're gonna have a lot of live reveals that day, a lot of showing our props off. We're gonna be having some reveals, and we're gonna have some pre-orders coming up. And lastly and mostly, if you're a fan of original stories, if you're a fan of the paranormal, if you're a fan of audiobooks with slight imagery, please go over and check out our newly launched channel, Ecto Ordnance Corps. It's on YouTube. We just put our first full-length short audio story up there. It's live right now when I'm talking, so wait till this is completed, but then please go listen to it. And enjoy. We put a lot of love and care into it. It's first of many to come out.
Love that. Love that. I will again. I am a one of the ambassadors, one of the lucky ones to have been asked to join. It's an honor to join. So make sure you guys head over to Tools and Talent. Use code HeyArcher, save 10%. But I'm telling you, I said it on Dave's Dimensions stream this past weekend. My brain is mush on Tuesday. I was like, if quality stuff to the extent that I'm like, why was I not buying this earlier? So if you are doing some modifications, check out his stuff. Also, as a larger guy, the only like belt I've bought that fits comfortably.
We put a lot of work into that, man. We put a lot of work into that.
I can talk to you about that belt for hours.
Size 28 to 65.
Yeah.
For all you small and bigger busters, we got you.
Yeah. So, toolsandtalentprops.com, the real deal. But of course, we're going to head to the man, the myth, the legend, the great Scott himself, Senor Wes. Plug yo shit.
Well, first of all, hey Archer, thanks so much for having me back on the show. And it was nice to meet Doc and Matt. It's been a pleasure talking with you guys. But yeah, check out our Etsy store, Great Scott Prop Shop. I know we didn't have a chance to talk about it much on the show tonight, but these were our Severance signs that we have. But something quick preview.
Oh my gosh.
We've got a Ghostbusters Severance mashup sign that's going to be available soon.
That is beautiful.
With a bunch of different sayings, Ghostbusters related. So keep an eye out for those coming up. And also, if you want to see kind of a different side, non-Ghostbusters related, check out my wife and I, Melissa and I, our YouTube channel, Travel and Foodie Warriors on YouTube. Go to a lot of cool different places, theme parks, filming locations, good places to eat. So we'd love to see you on there too.
Yeah. They're also on Instagram, so make sure you follow them there. So that way you can get some real-time updates.
Already jealous. I've seen the Epic Universe photo right there. Okay, we need a whole other episode.
Yeah. It's a dangerous channel.
New YouTube video we had, so just released it.
Yeah.
All right, have to check that out.
I messaged them, I think, the first time that I went to the channel, and I was like, I freaking hate you guys because they go to all these, like, they go to, they'll go to, like, your Disneys and Universals and stuff like that, but they go to all these other random places I've never heard of in the United States, especially, that I'm like, that's amazing. Like, there's so much out there that, like, if not for channels like Travel Foodie Warriors, you wouldn't know existed. So I highly, 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 highly recommend you follow Wes over there at Travel Foodie Warriors, and of course, Great Scott Prop Shop over on Etsy. But yeah, actually, I didn't see these two before. Look at that, you already started putting on some new stuff there.
Yeah, we've got the Lost clock. If you have any fans of Lost out there, it's the countdown clock. It doesn't flip the numbers, but it's a cool little display that you can hang on your wall, and put a few little Disney things in there for any Disney fans out there.
Yeah. So yeah, great stuff all around from Wes down there. So make sure you guys give a follow, subscribe, follow to all the gentlemen on the screen on there. I'm being nice calling them gentlemen, but follow all of them and support.
I know I'm not on camera, but I did look around to see who you were talking about.
Yeah. Hit up all their Etsy stores, hit up their websites, all that fun stuff. But, to the point that was made, if you are going to Ghostbusters Day and you see them around or you recognize the patches, come up, say hello. We're all just happy to be there. And that's what it's all about. We're all just happy to be there. And hopefully by next year we can get Wes up here. I didn't know. Maybe you said it before and I missed it and it just didn't register that you've not been into New York City before. You've not been to the Firehouse before. I thought it just had. I thought for some reason I thought you went to the Firehouse, but it was under construction at the time.
No. It's I've been to a lot of places, but somehow New York has not been one of them yet. So when I do make it there, the cameras will be rolling for our Travel and Foodie vlog, but also for things Ghostbusters related.
What do you guys think? Should they come up for Should Ghostbusters Day be the first visit to the firehouse, or do you think they should go?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I wouldn't wait till the next one. I'd come before. Like,
Yeah,
get up there.
you very well might.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's
I mean,
random
that-
days too where like the cars show up. There's always fans there, so
Yeah.
you really can't miss.
There's a lot of Ghostbusters in the city for Comic-Con as well.
Yeah.
Comic-Con weekend in October, which is a fun time to be in the city.
Yeah.
Because the whole of the city, whole city's a Comic-Con basically. It's the same for Ghostbusters Day. Just the whole of the city's got Ghostbusters wandering around.
That is
If you go
hilarious.
if you go down to the Port Authority
Yes.
during the freaking con, you're just gonna be like, "What is pouring out
Yeah.
of this front door?" All the locals are just staring.
Yeah.
What is happening?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the
So
best
what
things.
I should probably do is come up between now and next Ghostbusters Day, kind of get the lay of the land, figure out where
Yes.
things are, and then
That's it.
back on the 42nd anniversary of Ghostbusters next year.
Well,
If you can put up with inclement weather and you want the city to yourself, show up late January, February. You can go anywhere you want. You can do anything you want. You're not going to be walking through a sea of people. Yeah, I'm not sure where you're from, but dress accordingly.
I'm a
make
Floridian,
your
I'll freeze
spots
to
hit.
death.
Yeah, blow
And-
some money.
and you know
blow
what?
some money on
In the-
some Ubers. But I talk about seeing everything you want to see without a crowd.
he's not lying.
And in the winter, the city smells better.
It does.
Way better.
It does. I mean, but if you do Ghostbusters Day, the New York City Ghostbusters are always doing tours. And this year they added a second tour to the day. So I imagine that's going to continue, where there's a morning tour. They go around to the places you see here on the screen. And then once the day is complete, they go to some of the more famous ones at the end. So don't worry about trying to see it all in advance when you get there. They'll take you around. They'll take you on the train. Easy peasy.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
there's more and more services coming up. I know Gotham City Cinemas is going to be doing some stuff. The new
Yep.
Ecto Manhattan's going to be doing some stuff. So there's plenty of opportunities for everybody to see one of the 25 original in existence Ectomobiles still moving around. 1959 Meteor
Yeah.
Cadillac
Wow,
in the
Yeah.
front,
that's awesome.
baby.
Yeah.
Well, like I saw Dave's Dimension say in the comments earlier, I'll be there in spirit.
Exactly. Yeah. But don't worry. Between the three of us, we'll get you all the content you need.
We will.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Gentlemen, pleasure, honor. I guess Matt doesn't matter to you, but Doc, good luck with the packing, and good luck
Oh,
with the
thanks,
travel. Although you know what, Matt, good luck traveling as well, because coming out of a dirty Jersey, it can be a hassle at times. So, but tonight has been, like I said, quite the pleasure. HeyArcher Live every Thursday, 8:15-ish p.m. here on Nerd Affiliated. I feel like we actually started off pretty early. We were like 8:16 or 17, which is pretty good, all things considering.
Got a bunch of professionals on the call, buddy.
I'm telling you. I was the late one. Today.
That's honesty in broadcasting right there, if I've ever heard it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Make sure you guys hit up Great Scott Prop Shop, Tools and Talent Props, and of course Creative Geekery. Lots of fun content coming from this weekend. Tomorrow is the YHS live podcast as well. So Matt said he's going, actually, so maybe we'll get some behind the scenes from Matt over there. I may have a rambling spy down in there as well, so we'll see if we get some footage. Who could that be?
I wonder.
But at the very least, you'll get some content from Saturday at the Firehouse. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll talk to all you nerds in the next video. Peace. We're out of here.
2016 says I just whipped your ass.